Hello, world, and welcome to the first episode,
very
first episode of In the Middle with Mark and Miles. I am Miles, here with my co-host.
And I'm Mark. Last time I looked.
And the thing about this show is about, two different individuals from two different walks of life coming together and finding common ground in the middle.
In the middle.
And I would say we're definitely two different individuals, right?
Oh, yeah. I would say if you held this against a mirror, I think you would see the reason differences. In a theoretical sense. But no, we are. Well, we're from different generations.
Definitely different.
Number one.
Yeah.
We're definitely from different communities.
Right.
You, for the most part, grew up here in New York.
Yeah.
I grew up in New York State, not the city. So I'm a country boy.
Right.
Always wanted to be in the city.
Right.
Which put me in a lot of different places throughout the country.
Right.
But definitely a different perspective on things.
When did you actually come to the city?
City?
Yeah.
2005.
2005?
Yeah, so I've been here 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah, 15 years.
So how long?
15 years of chaos. 15 years of chaos, yeah.
And you've seen a lot, and so you've been born, 61, right?
Correct.
So you've seen a lot from 61 now to 2020, right?
Right.
It's like a whole different world.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with all the stuff I see. And of course, did I want to make it easy on myself? No. As I got older, I came to New York City.
Right.
What are you talking about? It's like, I thought that was a good idea.
Right.
Sure it was.
And so before New York, you were in, Seattle, you said?
I lived in Seattle. I was there through the late 90s into the early 2000s.
Okay.
Until I moved here in New York. And I was before that I was in San Francisco, before that Orlando, Dallas. I'm in a business that, I travel a lot.
Right.
To different cities.
Right.
I stay in, I'm in those cities.
Right.
But if I wanted to advance my career, it was always moving to a different city. So
right.
I've seen a lot of different aspects of the country.
Right.
Both red and blue. I didn't even know that was a thing,
right.
Until the last election.
Right.
But so I've spent most of my life seeing very different environments.
Right.
All the way to when I lived in Atlanta, and saw, which is probably my first experience living in an area that has a very large minority community.
Okay.
And because I grew up in the country.
Right.
We had, it was very vanilla.
Right. Looked like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much. Hallmark movies were actually made in my time. It was just it was a very as I see it now, it was a very closed environment.
Right.
It wasn't a bad environment.
Right.
I came from a pretty good family. My dad was in education. He was a superintendent of a school district for most of my life. And my mom was in education too. She was a phys ed teacher and then became a guidance counselor.
Okay.
So I was brought up in the, my dad was a public figure.
Right.
He, not in big cities, but in large suburban areas.
Right.
So it was, I really got a taste of what happens when you make decisions that the public doesn't necessarily agree with. Because I saw some sides of people that I really didn't agree with.
So you would say, from the different areas that you lived in and visited, that it gave you a different worldview compared if you actually stayed in your town.
Correct.
Right.
It was I remember this one time where I had the decision my dad had to make about a teacher
right.
and whether or not to give him tenure.
Okay.
And long story short, he denied it, and it became a thing.
Right.
And it became a huge thing.
Oh, wow.
So this was this would have been in the 70s. This was happening.
Right.
So probably late 70s, and the entire school went on a sit-in because this was a popular teacher.
Right.
And then the school board turned on my dad. And I remember, we lived in the country, so, my house was like 5 miles from town.
Right.
So we were in the sticks.
Right.
And, my dad is getting what is considered hate mail.
Right. Wow.
Oh, yeah, it was off the hook.
Wow.
I mean, it was off the hook. And seeing how in dire times who your real friends are.
Right.
I remember being in the living room, and it was like Friday night, and it was late. My mom and dad were upstairs. So I'm talking 10:30 or so, and there's a knock on the door. Okay, again, we're in the sticks.
Right.
Okay, I think I'm like 16, 17 years old. And okay, so I get a little hyped.
Right.
It's like, what the hell is this? So I go down, and I'm like looking, around the corner, and it turns out it's my priest.
Your priest.
My priest.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, how did he know I was doing something I shouldn't? Anyway, he was great. Anyway, so I answered the door, and he goes, "Hey, I'm here to talk to your dad, your mom." And I'm like,
"Oh,
okay."
Right.
Well, it turned out that later, I don't know this right at the moment, but later I realized that my dad had this big crisis event. He was literally getting on the point of being having a nervous breakdown.
Oh, man.
Because all these people that he had been close to, or at least believed he was close to,
right,
turned on him.
Right.
And again, this is small town USA, and people's beliefs can, their belief system, they aren't tested very often.
Right.
You live in a city, maybe you can attest to this. You live in a city, and you get tested a lot.
Oh, yeah.
About what you believe in.
Yeah.
But in the country, you don't.
Right.
All right. You believe that you're, God and country and
right,
yada yada. Okay. Until you're tested on it.
Right.
And then things start coming out.
Right.
And maybe you stick to those guns.
Right.
Maybe that's what you really feel. Maybe you don't.
Right.
Denying a popular teacher tenure was a crisis moment in this. And just to back up a minute, my dad got hired at this school district because it was in trouble.
Right.
And he was just one of those guys. He always told me he was a pit bull. Junkyard dog. I'm just a junkyard dog. I'm like, okay, Dad. It's like, what do you say to that? Right. And he had a tough upbringing. He was, you would consider him being brought up on the wrong side of the tracks in rural America.
Right.
And he grew up poor and had to put himself through college, and he went in the military. He served in Germany for a while during the Korean War.
But that thing a lot too.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway, so he he put himself through school, and he became what he became. And having that experience, he was one to always looked at the standards and what standards made communities or school districts great.
Right.
So that's what he measured against.
Right.
So he walked into this town, and again, I found all this out later.
Right.
But he walked into this town, into the school district, and realized that, holy cow, there's a lot of stuff.
Right.
No reason. He was being able to see the I don't know what you would call it. Probably less than a substandard. Okay, this was a substandard school district, and part of the reason is because nobody ever looked.
Right.
You know, go along to get along. I mean,
Right.
that's basically the mantra that was going on at that time.
Right.
And, you know, my dad is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad,
Right.
you know, he started looking under stuff. It's like, oh, whoa. And it's like, look at that. And instead of closing the lid, he opened it up. What came of that was, you know, finding teachers that were not certified as teachers.
Oh, wow.
And hadn't been. You know, people getting paid more for master's degrees that they didn't have.
Oh, wow.
And they had no. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. But, I mean, basically what it was is the culmination of all that came when he denied tenure.
Right.
Okay. And when he denied tenure, the public was up in arms. Because, why? This was a very popular teacher.
Right.
In his mind, progressive.
Right.
You know, personally, I think he was abusing young girls at the time. That's my own personal opinion. I don't have any direct evidence of that, but I have a very good feeling. Anyway, so all the kids loved him, so all the parents are going to, you know, obviously they're going to side with the kids, and then it just became this huge ugly thing. Wow. And in small town America, man, it's that stuff can go left like quick.
Right.
So anyway, you know, I see my priest, and I'm like, okay. And then my mom and my priest come down, and they're talking to me, and you know, they're looking at me like, how are you doing through all this? You know,
Right.
I'm like, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, through what? It's, you know, because I'm like, okay, there's some stuff going on. No. I don't know if I was strong. You know, I kind of took things at face value, and just. I didn't go much deeper in that.
Right.
I think probably because I knew in my psyche that that would not be a good thing. Let's not drill down on that at 16.
Right.
I'll wait till later.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, you know, from a perspective standpoint, you know, I've been able to see many different communities.
Right.
And you know, I was brought up in the church.
Right.
You know, I was. I was brought up Episcopal, which is Catholic light.
Right, it is.
Not as much kneeling, a lot of kneeling. And I was very proud of it. I was an acolyte in church. And, you know, my mother was a missionary at one point.
Right.
So yeah, I was brought up with those values.
Right.
Now, later, did I actually hold on to the religion part of that? No, I let that go. But the lessons learned with that kind of stability is different. And I think this is where people get lost. You know, people get lost because they think that if they don't think the way or feel the way the church is going, that all of a sudden God is out of their life.
Right.
And I don't believe that.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
I believe that you have to have faith.
Right.
You know, you have to. It's part of, it's part of human existence.
Right. To the beginning of time. Right.
You know, to believe in something greater than yourself. Call it whatever you want.
Right.
You know, I saw something, I think I told you this. I saw something interesting where if you look at all the religions and the deity that they pray to, okay, all have the sound of ah.
Right.
Think about that.
Right.
You know, it's like every deity you can think of. God in Christianity and Allah.
Right.
And, I mean, it's like, I don't, you know, that was just a fun fact.
Right.
No, I have no idea if it's, you know, really meaningful. But, but it was kind of interesting.
Right. Very similar to you. I have very similar upbringing. You know, I was also Catholic from maybe, I think, the first 10 years of my life. I was Catholic because my mom and my father are both Haitian, and the Haitian community is like big on, you know, Catholics. Like, you know. And my father got here before my mother. I believe he was out here since maybe the 70s. My mom came around a little bit around the 80s, or maybe my father was a little bit before that. But, you know, my mother, her father was a judge. You know, before a judge, he was a lawyer. Before he was a lawyer, he was a cop. So, you know, and I think he was in the military before that. So she already had like this mindset of like, okay, when I raise my boys, you know, I want my boys to be like how my father was. You know, and then when I met my grandfather, you know, like all about discipline. You know, like, you know, this is how a man carries himself. I've learned from my grandfather. You know, because you know, he had that. You know, what it was to be
discipline.
a man. Yes, the discipline. Yes.
I know that's a dirty word nowadays.
Right.
Especially for your group, the millennials. It's like, this one, what's that?
Right. But, you know, I was born and raised here, no difference. I was born and raised here in Queens, New York. You know, Queens, you know, you have, you know, Martin Scorsese is from Queens, Donald Trump is from Queens, but I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens. So you're, you know, like your Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and your Nicki Minaj area, you know. So where most people have considered, you know, the streets. The
Nicki
hood.
Minaj
Yes.
is from out there?
Yeah. She's
See,
from
I learn something new every day, bro. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, she's from the same area.
She's a small woman. Very small. Great.
Right.
Very small.
So I'm from that area, Southside Jamaica, Queens. And for a long time, I didn't, you know, really like, even understood that what type of area I was in. Because my mother didn't like me and my brother going outside much. I have a twin brother. And she'd rather us stay in the home where it was safe, you know, especially because she's from a different country. So her perception on what the streets of America is, especially in you know, urban communities, she was just like, you guys don't have to go outside. Stay here. Watch Mary-Kate and Ashley. Don't do anything else but go outside. And, you know, of course.
Watch what?
Mary-Kate and Ashley. Yeah.
Mary-Kate
and Ashley.
Oh,
the girls from, you know.
The twins?
The twins, yeah.
From,
Full House. Full House and, you know, the other shows they had afterwards.
Wow.
Because, you know, me, my brother and I, we're twins. So my mom figured, okay, those are twins. You guys are twins. This must be twin programming. It was years before we realized, oh no, this program for girls, ma. This is stuff for girls.
The craziest thing of you talking about your story is when you told me you had a twin.
Right, right, and we're complete opposites.
Exactly. I was like, oh, so you have the evil twin.
The way I like to describe it is like the movie Twins, with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Dan DeVito. Yep. I'm Arnold, my brother's Danny. You know, we got the best of each. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know, our upbringing, you know, it was. I like to say it's a very traditional upbringing. You know, we was in the church a lot, went to school. My mom didn't like us going out, but every once in a while we'd convince her, hey, let's go to the park. And then she's like, fine, go to the park. And then, of course, we end up getting into a fight or something, you know. And she's like, this is why I don't let you guys go outside, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the yard. Don't leave the yard.
You know, so, you know, I for a long time, I didn't believe I even lived in a hood. You know, like I remember as a kid, I saw films like Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood, where it's all about like, you know, gang violence and, you know, all the street stuff. And I was just like, oh, I'm glad I don't live in an area like that.
So it was like call to action movies.
Right. And then for years, I didn't even know. I think it was high school when my bubble bust and I learned what type of environment I was in. You know, I started learning that 50 Cent was from my neighborhood. And, you know, especially because from elementary to junior high, we never really left the neighborhood, you know, because the schools were right around the corner. We were just walking distance. And it wasn't until...
Which is so different than living in other parts of the city.
Right.
You know, and we can get into that later. But, you know, talk about my daughter's experience when we first moved here. She was in fifth grade.
Right.
First time that she had an audition.
You had to go to a school. Right.
What?
Right.
I had your experience.
Right.
You know, it's like... You know, we took a bus, but we, you know, got to school, and it was the same school.
Right.
It was the same school. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, but that also happened to me when I was in high school. Originally I auditioned to go to Hillcrest High School. That's where Ray Romano went and everything. So I'm like, okay, I want to go there because that's where all the other actors went. Now they end up saying, like, you're too far from that school, so we're going to send you this way.
So you were already thinking in terms of
acting,
creativity.
I've actually known what I want to do since I was 4 years old. I always tell people that, and it's the truth. It's literally the truth. Because both my mother and my father, they didn't know what they was doing when they gave me these two cassettes. So my father gave me a copy of The Making of Michael Jackson's Thriller, and it's the full-length music video, and then there's the whole 16-minute behind the scenes of the making of the video. Right. Now my father didn't think, he just like it was a hand-me-down from his kid, you know. Because my father had 3 previous kids before I was born, so he was just like, all right, here, you know, this worked for them, this should work for you, you know, this will keep you quiet, you know.
Sure.
And I was just in love with just everything from the prosthetics, the makeup, the this and that, you know. Yeah. So then my mom gave me.
Here's a live grenade. Hold on to this, you know.
See what you blow up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
and it was very similar.
That's great, man. That's a great story.
Thank you.
That's a really great story.
a similar story with my mom. You know, she gave me a video that was what she thought was Ninja Turtles 2 was the making of Ninja Turtles 2. She didn't know the difference at all. You know, like my mom was the one who was like, "Is a video cassette?"
So it was a perfect storm.
Yeah, you know,
it's like now laid the foundation for the rest of your life.
Basically, they had no clue, but that literally set my path forever. After that, all I could think was in pictures and writing stories. You know, and one thing I realized what difference it made in my life was it made things easier to look at things and know what's not real, and what's that somebody wrote that, like it wasn't from, like I remember as a kid my mom used to get so tired.
So you got a bullshit meter
early. Yes.
Good for you.
Like I remember as a kid, like I think it could be Michael Jackson Thriller or any horror movie at all. There's somebody getting cut up in half, or like even like Scarface. My mom claimed that she would watch Scarface when she was pregnant with me because she was trying to learn English. So right? I think it was
talk about extreme,
right? I think it was the only cassette my father had at the time. Scarface, The Godfather, a whole bunch of Al Pacino movies. So that's where her introduction to like, all right, this is English.
Yeah, this is English. This is the American way. We kill people.
Damn. And the funny thing about it, she didn't even understand that they were gangsters. She just saw the suits, so that's all she knew. Because her father was always in suits, so she saw these guys in suits. So she's like, oh, these guys are good guys. Until they start cutting people in half and everything. She's like, oh, what's going on here? But as a kid,
and of course, what's your genre,
right? But anytime we'll watch any of those type of images, or she'll catch me watching any of those type of images that get really bloody and gore, she's like, oh my God, how can you watch it? And I'm like, oh mom, it's fake, it's just food coloring and this and that. And I'm like 7, so she's like, how can you even comprehend that?
Do you see that? Okay, that's hilarious. It's like, yeah, mom, see that? No, that's not what it really is. No, what it really is,
like it's a prosthetic leg, and like she's just sitting there like, what are you talking about? Like it's latex, mom. They rip it apart.
Which is why that kind of stuff wouldn't affect you, because you see deeper into it.
Right. And because of my mom, we got to travel a lot as well. From before I would even hit puberty, I was able to see. I visited Haiti, Mexico, Great Cayman, Jamaica. She pretty much took us anywhere she wanted to go. She made sure she took us. She wasn't waiting until we was old enough so she could travel. She was like, we just all going to go travel together.
Mm-hmm.
So. With that, it made me see things in a bigger picture. My world wasn't just the four corners in my neighborhood. And
important.
It plays a huge part in my life now.
Good for your mom,
right? And one of the things I would say, the best thing my mom ever did for me and my brother, when we was 12 going on 13, we both wasn't doing too well in school. At that point in my life, I think I just got left back. Not too long before that, I was left back in 5th grade. My brother, he didn't get left back, but you could see that his grades were starting to slip.
Why do you think that was?
I
just weren't interested in school, or
I believe that's what it. From when I remember around that time, it was just I wasn't picking up on math right away. There was
that's universal, bro.
That
universal, because I do the exact same. Oh man, math. Math, please.
Right. I look at my nieces and nephew homework now, and it's like, what are they even teaching you now? I thought we had problems back then. At least ours, we found a way to simplify the answers. Now it was like you gotta go through the whole world just to find the answer for X. But I can't speak for my brother why he was starting to slip in school. We at that point of our lives we were becoming two different people. Mm-hmm. I was more, wanted to stay home. That was around the time when I started picking up filmmaking books and everything like that. My brother at the time just started getting girlfriends and, started hanging out with friends more often. And we wasn't allowed to leave the house, but my brother was taking this opportunity, especially because my mom just started working double shifts around that time. Mm-hmm. So she just started like 16-hour schedules. So she'd be like, all right.
Your mom was
a nurse. Yes, in 2 different nursing homes, 2 veteran homes.
Got it.
So, and we spent a lot of time over there.
I'm glad she's retired now.
Oh yeah.
That would not have been.
Oh no, not right now. She thanks God every day that she's out of there. But yeah, around that time, 12 years old, my brother and I were definitely just becoming that's the moment we became 2 different people.
Well, you're puberty.
Right.
You're in puberty all of a sudden. Okay, things are happening now. One went to the dark side. The other one not so much.
So, I was having a lot more alone time, and that's around the time I I learned I could be by myself and don't need constant, a friend or somebody near me to enjoy my time alone. Yeah. My brother at that time, that's when he realized he always wanted to be, I guess that's when he learned he was an extrovert, and that's when I was an ambivert, where I'm like, I could be with people, but at the same time, I could be isolated and be A-okay.
A what?
Ambivert, I believe it's called.
Ambivert?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm learning something new every day. In my life, I've never heard that. Because I look at myself as a complete introvert.
Right.
It's like home time.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate my alone time, but especially being in film, there's moments where you have to be in a crowd of people.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but at the same time, I can be alone and it won't bother me at all. But I realized how important that was because around that time, my like I said, we were failing in school, and my mom decided, because we had a friend named Jawanza. His mom, he was from Africa, so his mom sent him back to Nigeria, but he wasn't doing too good in school. Mm-hmm. So my mom's like, oh, okay, that seemed to work for him. I'm gonna do that to you guys. I'm gonna send you guys back to Haiti,
And when was this?
This is 2003. Yeah, 2003.
Ouch.
Yeah, right. So
when was the earthquake?
It was 2000. I want to say maybe 2007 or maybe 6 around. Okay. Yeah, we just missed. No, we just missed it. We just missed it. Okay. Just by a few years. Man. Yeah. Woo. But
crazy.
So, being two American-born kids, that was a complete culture clash of just living in a third world country. Right. Originally we were supposed to stay at a boarding school, but then my mom saw how the standards were at the boarding school, and she was like, "Oh no, you guys can't stay here. This is just bad." Especially because we're coming straight out of America. She's like, "You guys are not ready for that type of lifestyle. You're not ready for that at all." So she made us stay with a friend of hers.
It's like a refugee camp,
right? Yeah. Compared to other boarding schools, definitely. Yeah. It was definitely not enough resources, definitely, no running water, you had to do the laundry by your hands, and
you know what? That's a great experience, man.
It is.
Because it gives you a perspective that a lot of people that believe that they are poor don't ever experience.
Right.
Because, there's poor.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there's American poor.
Right.
Okay.
First world problems.
And I've been exactly first world problems. I've been without money,
right?
But I have never been poor,
right?
Okay, but I've seen it, but I've seen it in, as you said, you were in Haiti. I saw it in Jamaica. I saw it in Mexico. I saw it in Bermuda.
Right.
I saw it in those places.
Right.
Third world type of poverty.
Right.
It's completely
different.
Yeah.
And it really, really made an impact on my life because I stopped taking things for granted after that.
Sure.
I became more grateful for the things I actually had in my life.
Great word, man.
Right?
Grateful.
Especially as a kid, you don't get the news Game Boy or this or that. You're like, oh, my life sucks. But then when you see someone who don't have running water or electricity, you're like,
think about this. Game Boy didn't exist.
Right. Right,
we had Pong.
Right, a pad and a stick, with a ball and a stick.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly. That was our idea of games was actually to go out with a ball.
Right.
We didn't have electronics.
Right.
We didn't know what that was.
Right.
It wasn't until Pac-Man didn't come out until I was in college.
Oh man! So you went through a whole childhood with no electronic games.
Arcade games. That's all we had.
Coming back from Haiti, we didn't come back from Haiti till 2004. We were supposed to be there for 3 years. That was the plan originally. But there was a whole thing going on with the American government and the Haiti government. They came, they took the Haitian president out the country, and basically they lost their mind.
Yeah,
the whole country lost their mind.
I remember that. Isn't that when the United States inputted a leader that was supposed to be the savior? It turned out to be just another garbage bag that had happened before. What
it was a mess.
Haiti is just been used as a dish rag for so long. Basically. It's so sad.
Right. And I didn't understand it as a kid until I saw, it's like the moment where, you're watching helicopters fly over your home, like, Black Hawk Down, like every day, just army tanks just driving left and right. That's when I realized, like, oh, this is different.
It's that country in my mind, this is a personal opinion, that country gets abused, I believe, because of its location,
right,
and how certain governments view it,
right,
as logistical,
right.
But I don't remember in my lifetime, you know, obviously I've been around a little longer than you, where that country has ever been stable.
Right. From my research, it never has been stable compared to, like, you know, maybe like a Puerto Rico. Never. It hasn't been like that stable.
But then you got, you know, you got the Dominican Republic,
right,
on the same island,
right.
Okay, so when this is my naivety. So when I was learning geography, I never knew this. Okay, I heard Haiti, and I saw this blot on the map.
Right.
Okay, that's Haiti.
Right.
Right. And it wasn't until I got to New York. Okay, Dominican.
Oh,
Jeez,
wow.
where you guys from? Literally, I'm saying,
right,
you know, dumb country boy coming.
Right.
Because let me tell you, if you're coming from another city to New York City,
right,
you're the dumb country boy.
All right.
Because this is the real stuff.
Right.
Yeah. This is why every time you're outside the city and people say, oh, it's different in New York.
Right.
You're like, yeah, right. Until you get here.
Right.
And then you're like,
it's different.
Yeah, you have like this existential crisis when you move to New York.
Right.
But there's a, what was it? When I got to New York, I saw this whole community of Dominicans,
right,
and I'm like, Dominicans, where are you guys from?
Right.
You know, when after they stop laughing, they look, well, from the Dominican Republic. Really? Okay. Where is that? Well, it's in the Caribbean. Really? Yeah, it's like right next to Haiti. What? You guys have your own separate island? He goes, no.
It's the exact same island.
It's the same island. And I'm like, okay, so over time, I'm like, how is it? You know, and I'm not saying that the Dominican Republic is a first world country. Obviously,
right,
it is not.
Right.
But it ain't Haiti.
It's not Haiti.
They never make the news.
Right.
Okay, they're not in, you know, international politics.
Right.
It's not. I never understood what that.
It's literally two different worlds. I've been to Dominican Republic a number of times. Like, there's been times where I've drove from Haiti to the Dominican Republic, and it's literally like two different worlds. Literally, they some of them.
Did you need a passport?
No, you don't need a passport, but you do need identification. Yeah, you know, especially. I mean, granted, I'm American, so I have my American passport. So you know, that's one thing. I
get out of jail free card.
Yeah, like I checked my privilege with the last time I was over there. 'Cause I was like, you know, like, oh wow, they don't treat, you know, because they from.
Whoa. Did you just say privilege?
I checked my privilege.
You just said privilege.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have privilege. I'm telling you.
Please. Another trigger word. You're triggering me.
Well,
my next time to snap. It's like privilege.
But that's one of the moments where, you know, because over there, you know, some Dominicans don't. They look at Haitians like, you know, you're not of us. You know, we're not the same. You know, they have like this thing going on that's been going on for years. There was one time, you know, I'm just walking the streets of DR like it's just like New York City. I'm just walking around. I'm over here trying to film in different locations. Like, okay, we're gonna go over here. We'll go down this alley.
So you were the dumb American.
Yeah, I was the dumb American, right? And the guy who was driving us around, he spoke both Spanish and Creole because he was mixed. He was mixed. Most of the people over there are, you know, they're mixed.
Right.
And he just started running towards me. He's like, "Hey, don't go over there. Don't go that way." You know, he looking for his gun just in case. I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "You can't go that way." I'm like, "Why not?" Like, I'm
a dumb American,
right? And he's like, you know, yeah, when you walk and you don't say nothing, you look like the people here. But once you open your mouth, they know you're not from here. They know you're from a different country.
And all of a sudden, you're a target.
Right. Being able to, you know, travel the world at a young age and, you know, understand, you know, image and, you know, that people could put images together to, you know, tell a specific story. Sure. It helped me as, you know, as I got older to see things differently. You know, like I said earlier, you know, I didn't see the world between my 4 blocks. Right. You know, because there's people around my way who never left Queens. You know, they never even come to the city. You know,
that's another thing I saw when I moved to the city.
Right.
People who, you know, when you would talk to them about, you know, the rest of the country.
Right.
And I'm not talking about like going to California. I'm talking to like Pennsylvania.
Right.
Okay? You know, right next door.
Right.
Connecticut or New Jersey. No, No, never really been.
Right.
What?
Right. Stuff that's a drive away.
Yeah, exactly. So you went to college.
Yeah, for a short time. The situation was I wasn't able to get full financial aid.
Right.
So I was going to Full Sail University to get a bachelor's.
With all that privilege, you didn't.
Right? You would think, right? Like I should get scholarships. Like, come on, guys. Come on.
Just didn't know how to game.
I definitely didn't know they had a game. So I would have gave them the sob story they was looking for. Like, yeah, I'm from the streets. Like give them the real stuff, right? Like I didn't know. Like if I knew, I probably would have played the game as better as I could.
Why wouldn't you?
Right?
Why wouldn't
you? Like it was a wake up call becoming an adult to realize how the real world really worked. The real world really worked. Because when you in high school, especially in the millennial area, we were told go to school. And once you finish school, you'll be able to go right into college. Of
course.
And the school of your choice.
Everybody wins.
Right. Everybody makes it.
Everybody wins. Everybody gets a trophy. Nobody has to lose.
Right.
We don't want to hurt.
Especially everybody get a trophy. Right. Especially my generation, because my mom made sure she put my brother and I in sports forever. Right. Like, since we were kids, we never had Saturdays off. There was no Saturday morning cartoon for us. It was either choir practice.
Wow, that sucks.
Right? Oh, tell me about it. I just wanted to watch this little some Popeyes.
Well, it's like I grew up in, watching Westerns.
Right.
Because Saturdays mornings were Westerns.
Right.
And then the cartoons were like Johnny Quest.
Right.
Johnny Quest, man.
The Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
I actually tried to find that one time, and it's expensive.
Right, yeah.
To actually buy the series.
Right.
Race Bannon, he was my man. Race Bannon.
Right.
To me,
classic.
That was the man of action.
Right.
And I think a lot of characters were developed off of him.
Right.
But Johnny Quest was, man, that was...
I think they're trying to reboot it now.
Go ahead.
I think they're actually trying to reboot Johnny Quest now, actually.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Yeah.
But,
millennial Johnny Quest.
Right?
How are they going to do that?
I have no clue.
Haji?
There's no way Haji's going to be. No way.
Bandit the dog?
No, those characters are disappearing.
Yeah, exactly. And that takes,
that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, let me check my privilege.
But I remember specifically, once I was in high school, I had teachers who understood where I was going in life, and they were like, all right, let me tell you how what's going to happen after this.
Real.
Hey, I know I'm teaching you, but I'm still paying my student loans. Right. Like they would explain to me, like, this is how debt works, and before that, I'm just thinking, like, yeah, I'm just going to finish school, go to film school, I'm going to get a job at Universal by 23, and I'll be directing features, just like that. They're like,
by the time I'm 30, I'll be sitting pretty, Pacino will be calling me, to do his next movie.
Right.
Spike Lee will be on my speed dial.
I call Oprah when I need a check.
I don't know if I can fit you with my schedule.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah, man. A lot of people go through that. A lot.
Right. It definitely was a wake up call. Living that year in Haiti and seeing how the other half lives. That was my first real time where I actually realized the world worked differently depending where you were.
Sure.
That
makes sense.
Before that, especially because of all the movies I watched, I had a very small-minded view of, how the world works. And, at this point, that's where I was like,
Scarface, bro.
Right. Exactly.
That's a real small world.
And, when I was trying to go to college and everything, that's when I had to really go into the real world, because the route I decided to take, because I want to say I was 16 when I started working on my first real film. Well, I would say it was a short at the time, then I extended to an actual full-length feature. So when all of my teachers were telling me, like, hey, this is what's going to happen after you get out of school, I was just like, so can I just rush to that part? So, they offered me trade schools, they were offering me, different ways where I could get my diploma faster so I could, go straight into college. I was just like, why am I going to wait, the 4 years to get to that point, So right. By my second year of high school, I was just like, get me to a trade school, get me to whatever program so I could try to get my diploma faster so I could go to, college faster because I was ready. I was like, let's hit the pavement, let's do it.
Yep.
And then, once I was staying in Tallahassee, Florida, and I didn't know how far Tallahassee was from Orlando. I thought things was going to be just like New York. So I'm just like, I'm going to live with my sister in Tallahassee, and I'll go back and forth to school.
Yeah.
And then they're like, right?
It's like, No. Having lived in Orlando, no, that is not a commute.
Right? No. And then
I don't care how fast you can go on the highway. It doesn't make any difference.
And that was the first, the first time I was living outside of my own community since I lived in Haiti at one time.
Sure.
So, it was definitely a huge culture clash, and once the school told me I needed another $50,000 just to go to the school, because financially they only gave me $5,000. Mm-hmm. So I was able to just get a few books, my laptop, and I had to figure out the rest. So I was like, all right. And my mom at the time, that's when she started getting sick, because at this point it's almost been 20 years since she's been working in the veteran home. So her knees starting to come caving in, had to do surgeries.
Sure.
So I was like, all right, let me come home back to New York and just work on my career.
She's
here.
Okay now.
Yeah, she's okay now. I mean, her knees aren't that great.
Sure.
But
she's on disability.
Yeah, she's on disability right now. Okay. She's working her way towards retirement.
Yeah, God bless, man, because holy cow.
Right. Yeah.
If she's still been working nowadays, I would have been freaking out for you.
Right.
Jeez.
It was stressful when she was still working, because, then her knees just couldn't take it no more. 16 hours a day on her feet. And at that age, I didn't understand it until I got myself a job and was on my feet for 13 hours. My mom worked 3 more hours than I did. I understand you, Mom. I understand you completely,
Yeah. Talk about a truckload of reality.
Right.
Right there.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Crazy stuff.
Right.
So you went to school, your mom got ill, you had to come back.
Right.
And you started working jobs. Did you go to any other education
after college? No. Okay. Everything after that was self-education. Sure. I mean, since I was a child, self-education was my main thing. Whatever I was learning in school, I had to also learn it at home, because we wasn't allowed to watch TV on weekdays.
Here's the other thing. What a great message that is.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's like, ooh. Self-education,
right.
Self-realization,
right?
Being in congruence with your conscience,
right?
Or whatever else people are talking about. I mean that is. But those are old school values,
right?
Those are old school values,
right?
And I think we've lost. A lot of us have lost that. And the ones who actually had it are being drowned out.
Right.
Which is really, it's sad, but it's counterproductive, and we really need to get back to that.
Right, I agree.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's why we decided to do this.
Right.
Because coming from different areas, coming from different worlds, both from a generational standpoint and from a community standpoint, I think it's important that we have talks like this,
right? And
we will, as we go forward, we'll get into a lot of great different topics. And I think people are going to see that we don't take ourselves really seriously,
right?
Or too serious,
right?
We have some serious stances on things, but I think I don't know. You tell me. I mean, do you think that's why we're doing this?
Yeah, I think what it is when we first met, we didn't know how our relationship was going to grow. We were just in the same place, same time.
Because you were weird. I was just trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to deal with this kid, this weird kid who likes film and does. Show me that clip that you showed me the first time.
Which one? Oh, the trailer to my first film?
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is going to be a ride. No question. And fast forward, look at this.
Right, 50, 100 conversations later, But I do feel like, based on the conversation we do have, I feel like America, not even just America, but, just in general, when it comes to especially our era, they usually you never see anything where people of our age come together and just talk,
Exactly. Without shouting.
Right, usually.
Without calling out each other names.
Right, usually when you see that.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
It's always either like it's a debate, it's this or that. It's never just two Americans just having a conversation and just, finding common ground.
Exactly. Like gaming.
Right.
People never understand why, I'm a gamer.
Right.
But I only play one game.
Right.
But it's I really think it's an important thing. And I think that's why we got to the point of doing this.
Right.
Is we both understood, hey, this really means something.
Right.
We should get it out there.
Right.
Whatever that means.
Right.
As I've talked to you about, it's like, for us to get to the point where we are, being true to ourselves.
Right.
And we always want to make sure that this is authentic stuff.
Right.
Unedited us.
Right. Unedited, unfiltered.
Yeah. Well, yeah. As people grow to know me, it's like,
well,
did he just say that? Oh, no, he didn't.
I've definitely heard a few. I've heard a few of those moments. But, the whole thing is about being the change that we want to see in the world.
Exactly. Absolutely. We want to be the change. And I think that's, you know what? I think that's going to be the message that we're going to send to people.
Right.
And we should close every episode out with that.
Exactly.
It's like, be the change.
Be the change, everyone.
T-shirts to come.
Until next time, everybody. Have a good one.